Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Manatazak with GMS Ancient of Days in Los Angeles, currently teaching with the Akim in Sherman Oaks. And today, through the Spirit, I want to get into a lesson that's titled, Expect Things to Get Worse as This Wicked Kingdom Falls. Okay? Expect for things to get worse as this wicked kingdom falls. And this is a warning to the true Israelites according to the scriptures and pursuing the prophecies and pursuing to the curses that befell that nation that will be as a sign and a wonder here in these last days. Okay? Which you can identify primarily as you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. Okay, we are the true Israelites according to the scriptures. And the Lord is calling his elect back into the fold. Now, we do understand that pursuant to those same curses, one of the major ones being the diaspora, which translates as the scattering of the Israelites, we understand that we have been scattered to every nation under the sun. And we're going to come back into the fold in these last days, looking like those nations and speaking the languages of those nations we've been scattered to. But the spirit within ourselves bears witness with ourselves that we are the true children of Israel, regardless of what we look like and what language we speak. This is a spiritual awakening, not one rooted in carnality. This is not about skin color. This is about the spirit. And ultimately, this is about the election, the remnant that's been predestined to be delivered here in these last days. Okay? So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the lesson. And we're going to begin in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. And what inspired this lesson is seeing how quickly the Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed. Okay, it went through all of its proper or necessary channels. It's been signed and it has now officially been implemented. Okay, and we've only just begun to see the ramifications of what that actually means. But best believe that it's not nothing that we should be celebrating, because at the end of the day, Esau Edom knows, okay, that his time is short. And as the scriptures forewarn us, the devil, who is a so-called white man, devil just meaning deceiver, right? The devil, the so-called white man, is going to come down with great wrath because he knows that he hath but a short time. A short time for what? To enact his plan, to bring in a new world order. Okay? His rulership is drawing nigh. And we know, pursuant to the scriptures, that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So all the laws and legislations that he passes from henceforth, we know through the Spirit, it's not going to be anything that's going to benefit the children of Israel, because it's been their MO since the beginning to keep us down. Okay? To keep us underneath these other nations. Okay, Psalms the 83rd chapter tells you that these nations have a tumult against us. Okay, so it should be no surprise when this bill finally settles and some time passes and as things continue to move on, the situations for the Israelites are going to continue to worsen. Okay, the scriptures tell us that this is not our rest. So don't look to Babylon for comfort or for help, because Donald Trump, who we believe in the spirit to be Nero, his slogan, once again, just as his term when he ran the first time, was "Make America Great Again." But when has America ever been great for the Israelites? Because this is the place that we were sent to suffer together, to suffer our punishment. Okay, but it's in this same place where we're going to be delivered. And that time is swiftly approaching through the Spirit. But I want to begin in the book of Job 9:24, which reads, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked," showing you that Esau Edom didn't obtain this power by being greater than the Israelites or stronger than the Israelites, but it was the purpose of the Most High, who rules in the kingdom of men, to set them up over us, okay, as a punishment to the Israelites, his chosen nation. It says, "He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, wherein who is he?" Now, we oftentimes bring out that Esau Edom is the only nation that has used defacing and whitewashing to paint himself in the images of the nations that were greater than him at the time. Okay, that was part of his ploy to hide his true identity, is by taking on the identity of other nations, and you can see him doing that to this day. Okay, in the land of Israel now. Okay, I can get Revelations 2 and 9, Revelations 3 and 9. Okay, which is actually going into wicked Israelites, but that could be extrapolated in the spirit to apply to the people that are living in the land now, calling themselves the true people of the Lord, which we know, pursuing the prophecy, is false. Okay, but this lesson isn't about the so-called JOOs. Okay, this lesson is about the wicked legislations and draconian laws that are passing, that's going to affect the Israelites first and foremost. Okay, because although Donald Trump may smile and say all these wonderful things in front of the camera, okay, at the end of the day, he has a perpetual hatred for our people. Okay, and he has been put into place to show forth that hatred, and you're going to see it in these last days. Okay, but Esau's in rulership, and we could see while he's been at the reins, so to speak, he has corrupted both justice, and he has corrupted the identity of multiple nations. And that was part of the curses, to put a proverb and a byword on us to keep us confused. But the hopeful elect have woke up to his left-handed sorcery, and we're out proclaiming the truth, proclaiming the gospel, which is the good news to the true children of Israel. And only a small remnant is going to wake up to the 100% truth. And that's primarily who this warning is going out to, that small remnant. But let's get the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17, just to prove the point that Esau Edom was set up by the Most High. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men." Okay, so whoever's in rulership is in rulership because Yahweh Shemashai deemed it so. So if the so-called white man is in rulership, it's because the Most High put him there. Okay, and we know that the basis of men is speaking about Esau Edom, who is the wicked according to the scriptures. Okay, you look at his track record, and it should go without saying that this so-called white man is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Okay, and that's just the truth. Let's see. Let's get Habakkuk 2. Just to prove the statements that are made, because all throughout the scriptures, the prophets spoke the same thing. Let's get Habakkuk 2, beginning at verse 4. And it reads, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up in Slakia, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him." Okay, so what is that speaking about? That's speaking about Esau Edom. His soul is not upright in him because he was made to be the wicked. Okay, he's going to be contrary to righteousness. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." Okay, and this is Esau's MO, right? He has all these different embassies across the globe. His military is stretched thin all across the globe, which was his blessing, the fatness of the earth. But this just proves that who we say Esau Edom is lined up with what the scriptures say. Okay, this is speaking about Esau Edom, and we can see it because it's playing out right before our very eyes. He is a proud man who let me read it again. Verse 5, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, by his wicked doctrines and philosophies." Right? It says he is a proud man. No one is more proud than Esau Edom. Okay, because he's been at the top of the food chain, so to speak, for so long and hasn't been judged. he thinks that the Most High is with him. It says, neither keepeth at home. He's in every nation under the sun, trying to dictate, that country and trying to usurp authority over their governing powers. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, because everywhere he goes, he is the border of wickedness, as the scriptures warn us. And wherever he goes, death follows, because he does not keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And he doesn't know how to properly govern and run the world or his people. Okay? That is a job reserved for the children of Israel, beginning with the hopeful elect. Okay? It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So even with all this power that Esau Edom has, he's still not happy. And he's still not satisfied. Okay? And he's eventually going to be taken down. And it's going to take place in our lifetime. That's why we're seeing the downfall of this society. Okay? Let's get Isaiah 62. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2, it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh Shem Ashai shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So this is going to Yahweh Shem Ashai being the glory of his people. Okay? Because although it may seem like we're in gross darkness, that the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is something that's sought after, but not often found, because the Lord is looking for a small remnant. Okay? But that small remnant that's been destined to see through the wiles of the devil are going to see it clearly. They're not going to question the true prophets. They're not going to buck up against authority. Okay? That's why the Lord is only coming for a small remnant. Because when he came and saved the whole nation before, what happened? They eventually mocked, scoffed, and scorned, even though they seen and lived through all the miracles that Yahweh Shem Shai did to free them from the hands of the Egyptians. Okay, so the Lord is only dealing with a small remnant this time around. And the rest of Israel is going to be judged with these heathen nations. And they're going to have to come back through the Israelites that make it once the kingdom of heaven is established. Okay, and that's what's going to take place pursuant to the scriptures. Let's get Proverbs 29 and 2. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2, which reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Okay? And we're at an all-time high of mourning in this nation. Here it is, we just passed the 4th of July, which was supposed to be one of the most celebrated holidays here in Babylon the Great. But the mirth, the pomp and circumstance, as it were, in this society is low. The morale is low. The excitement for these holidays is not the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago even, right? The world is waxing worse and worse under this wicked rulership. And that's what I love about this scripture, because it lets you know that when the wicked beareth rule, the people are going to mourn. And that includes people from the nation of Esau Edom themselves. They're in a pitiful case as well. And they're supposed to be in rulership. Okay? Let's get 2 Timothy 2. The book of 2 Timothy 3 and 13. Okay, when you go into 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, this is Apostle Paul warning of stressful times. And it's nothing but stressful times that are ahead of us. Okay, it's going to get a lot worse before it eventually gets better. So we need to gird up our minds and be prepared for the spiritual, mental, and physical strain that we're about to go through. That's what we're preparing ourselves for and actually hastening, because we know that it has to get worse before it gets better. So you may call us fear mongers, you may call us prophets of doom, but these things must needs take place. Okay? And the sooner they take place, the sooner we'll be set up in our kingdom. That we, being the Israelites, of course. But let's get 2 Timothy 3:13, okay, which reads, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." And what do we know? What do we know about those that are deceived according to the scriptures? Well, it tells us that the deceived and the deceiver are his, being Yahweh Shem Shais. So for those that don't get this truth, they don't get it because Yahweh Shem Shai doesn't want them to get it. Okay? For those that get this truth and hold on to it, Lord willing, okay, you come into this thing in truth and sincerity and endure unto the end and be saved and delivered. It's as simple as that. And we hope, as the scriptures say, we're prisoners of hope, right? We hope that the Lord finds good favor in the men that are doing this work consistently and truthfully. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we don't know if we're going to make it. And that's all part of the fear of the Lord. But we are doing the things needful for us for salvation. We're doing the things that members of the hopeful elect would be doing in these last days. And we know that the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. So by process of elimination, we proclaim boldly that we could possibly be those men. But the scriptures say not to make yourselves of that number, right? So that's why we say everything with Lord willing. But at the end of the day, we have to throw the word of the Lord back at him. And he said that if we're diligent and we're faithful, that he's going to come and save us and deliver us. And there's no wasted word in the scripture. So if it says it, then best believe it's going to come true. But this is 2 Timothy 3:13. Once more it says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." So this is a clear indicator of the progressive moral decay in society under heathen rulership. Okay? Under heathen rulership. Because this is going to turn back into a paradise once it's set up back under the Israelites. And order is once again established with the law, statutes, and commandments being at the forefront. Okay? Let's get Revelations 18:5, just to show you how wicked this place has become. And we all know Revelations 18 goes into Babylon falling. This is Revelations 18:5. It says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities." Okay? So her sins have reached up to heaven. The scriptures say that it was like a smoke in the Most High's nose. Okay? So we know it's only a matter of time before the Most High pulls the plug on this place. And we're hoping, Lord willing, that it's this year. We're 6 months down out of a 12-month Gregorian calendar year with this big, beautiful bill passing. And Alligator Alcatraz being opened, and Guantanamo Bay, and all these different prisons, being opened, where these migrants are being taken, and where these migrants are being slain, dumped out of planes, etc., so on and so forth. Who knows what these next 6 months are going to bring? You got to remember that the Spirit got on Elder Apostle Dahar to name this year the hopeful year of our deliverance and the judgment and destruction of Esau Edom. And that could still very well take place. A lot could happen in the next six months. Okay, so we need to stand up, stay upon our watch, and keep our eyes peeled spiritually, because we're in some very serious times through the Spirit. And that's why the prophets are out continually giving you warning, because there's going to come a time where we're not going to be allowed to do this. Okay, let's get the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, verse 6 in the Apocrypha. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 6, it says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." Okay, wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So it stands to reason that everything they touch is going to be sown in wickedness. Esau Edom has been described in the scriptures as the border of wickedness. Okay? So global wickedness is going to intensify in the last days. And we can see that firsthand. Since we're in the book of Second Ezra, let's go back one chapter, chapter 14. Second Ezra chapter 14, beginning at verse 16, which reads, "For yet greater evils than the..." Well, actually, I'll begin at verse 14. Okay, Second Ezra chapter 14, verse 14. And we'll read down to 17. It says, "Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature." This is an exhortation to us in the truth. Cast off mortal thoughts. Okay? All this stuff is going to be dissolved here in Babylon the Great. Everything you see is going to be melted and done away with. We have greater things to look forward to. Okay? It says, "And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy onto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times." So cast your worries and your burdens to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because the things that are put on his hopeful elect are put on us not to destroy us, but to build us up and to prepare us. Okay? And it says haste to flee from these times. We're hasting to get out of here. That's the correct spirit of someone that's looking for the glory to come. Okay? This is not living here in Babylon the Great. We are yet this day in our captivity. So what do we have to look forward to here? Besides more wickedness, more oppression. Okay? Verse 16, it says, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." So we haven't even entered into Jacob's trouble yet. But yet already you have the foreign nations of the Israelites, especially in Argentina, Venezuela, their governments are falling and toppling. Those are Israelites. Those that have come over here across the border are being hemmed up by immigration. That's part of Jacob's trouble. Now the southern kingdom is being targeted. We are entering into the time of Jacob's trouble, but it's going to get even worse. We just read greater evils, okay, are going to be upon us. Verse 17, "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." You see that? It says, look how much the world shall be weaker through age. The quality of food is getting bad. Things are getting more expensive. The cost of living is high. The quality of life is terrible. The infrastructure here in Babylon the Great had a D grade, and that was what 4 or 5 years ago when Trump was first in office before Biden. Okay, so how much worse is it now? Okay, these are the times that we're living in. We could say with a surety that these are the end times because of everything that's taken place. Okay, we could say without a shadow of a doubt that spiritually, morally, and physically, the world is declining. And this is a clear indicator that we are at the end. Right? Let's close out in the book of Luke 21. I believe the point has been made through the Spirit. It's the book of Luke 21, verse 24. And this is red letter. Luke 21 and 24. So these are the words of Yahushua. It says, "And Yahushua answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things." Okay, so this is when Yahushua's authority was challenged. And when it comes to the heathen rulership, they have a set time to rule. Okay, but the authority that Yahushua has is going to supersede Esau Edom, because the scriptures say he's been given a bounds that he cannot pass. Okay, so no matter how much technology and how much weaponizing he does with the little time he has left, it has already been prophesied that he's going to go down. And Yahushua is that authority that's going to do it. Okay, so you got a lot of people that's challenging the validity of Yahushua, challenging his authority. Okay, some saying he's just a regular Israelite. Some not even believing that he's the Savior. But you're going to see him as he is when he returns. Okay, and you heard it from the prophets first. We're laying out that proverbial red carpet for Yahweh Shai. Okay, the heathen rulership has a set time to rule. Okay, and the treading down of Israel is temporary and soon to be reversed. And then that's going to take place when Yahweh Shai returns and cracks those clouds. Okay, and this authority was given to Yahweh Shai by the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Okay, and the hopeful elect, they acknowledge that. But in the meantime, as the title of this lesson says, expect things to get worse as this wicked kingdom falls. So stay rooted in prayer. Okay, keep your faith. Continue to read and study and fast as necessary. Okay, and continue to hope and hasten the day. Because we are in the times now where this kingdom is about to be overrun. And it's going to be overrun in righteousness. So with that, I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight, teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. This has been your brother Manatazak, and until the next lesson, Shalom.